All right, in problem 12, we have that how many people live in South Africa households as the question. And to find out, we collected data from a simple random sample of 48 out of the over 700,000 South African students who took part in the Census at School survey project. The mean number of people living in a household was 6.208, and the standard deviation was 2.576. Part A, is the normal large sample condition met in this case? Justify your answer. Okay, so since our sample size is 48, the normal large sample condition is met because remember, this just says that our sample size has to be at least 30, and 48 is obviously greater than or equal to 30. So we can say it's met. Now, part B. Maurice claims that 95% confidence interval for the population mean is 6.208 plus or minus 1.96 times 2.576 over the square root of 47. Explain why this interval is wrong and then give the correct interval. Okay, so looks like, so the interval, I guess let's just write out what the interval would be for a estimate of population mean. We use our sample mean plus or minus T star times our sample standard deviation over the square root of n. Now it looks like they used degrees of freedom for the sample size n, and it looks like they probably used Z star instead of T star for a 95% confidence interval. So I'm pretty sure those are the two main things. So let's correct that. So the X bar is correct, so it would be it has 6.208 plus or minus, but the T star, remember, comes from our degrees of freedom, and our degrees of freedom will be one less in the sample size, or 48 minus 1, 47. Whoops, 47. And that means our T star would be found by looking at our table B, the 95% confidence interval. So let's look over table B, 95% confidence interval, 47. Now, we're going to have to pick 40 for degrees of freedom since 47 is not on here. Now, even though 50 is closer to 47 than 40 is, we got to be conservative. So you want to choose the number that's below it, the next number below it, not the closest number. So in this case, we would scroll over at 40 row, this is 95%, and our T star would be 2.021. So 2.021, we put that there, times the sample standard deviation, 2.576, over the square root of n, so over the square root of 48. And then, so working this out, 6.208 plus or minus, so leaving this to our calculator, we can go 2.576 divided by the square root of 48 times 2.021, whoops, 2.021. We have a 0.75 for that margin of error. And when we add and subtract that to 6.208, that's 6.208. Our upper bound would be 6.96 about, and our lower bound would be about 5.458. Oops, 6.959. All right, there you go. And there's your confidence interval.